Welcome to the live, guys, and today I'm going to be answering some questions. Let me just put this away. And I have some questions from yesterday's live that I wanted to address. So I'll be going through those. I'm just going to wait for some people to join. Friday night. Hey Jack. Welcome. Why did you say them? Welcome to the live, guys. Hey Nasir. I'm well. Hey Billy. Divya. Welcome everybody. How's everyone doing today? Zaza! Hey! How are you doing? So good to see you. I'm from England, Billy. Where are you from? Where is everyone from? Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, Zaza, I missed you too. I was thinking about you actually, yesterday, and how I haven't seen you in here in a while. So you must have got my mind message. No, it's not London, it's actually Paris, I think. Do trade skill jobs pay well? Yeah, if you're good. I think you can make a lot of money doing anything if you're very good and very conscious and you believe in yourself. Dr. Bumble. What do you need help with? How to do a live stream? You have to go on YouTube and press create. How do you help a depressed person? Well, if it was me, I would try to be there for them as much as I could. I would try to really listen to them. And if they are, I don't know, like what is your relationship with this person? Are they your family member? Are they your friend? Hey Tim, good evening. They're your friend. Okay. Sometimes just being with the person and not even trying to change how they feel, but allowing them to feel it. Listening when you have the energy to listen. Like, if you can truly listen to them without trying to change how they feel, that can be very therapeutic. You know, you can ask them questions to maybe help them to get to the root of why they're feeling how they're feeling. Just like out of curiosity, not really trying to like change how they're feeling or anything, but just allowing them to express can be really therapeutic for people. I think it's important for us to let people be in their feelings. A lot of the time, we like a lot of the time when our friends are upset or depressed, it can be very much this like what's the word? Impulse to try to get them to feel better. But that can sometimes make the person feel worse. Like they don't want to be made to feel better all the time. Unless you ask them, do you want me to help you to feel better? And they say yes. Or you could ask them, do you want me to give you a different perspective on whatever it is that they're feeling depressed about? Like, do they know what they're feeling depressed about? Have they told you what they're feeling depressed about? What if they don't open up to you? You could just be with them. If they don't want to open up, you could just be with them and just say, look, I'm here if you want to open up. I'm here to talk about it. But if they're not ready and they don't want to talk about it, then that's okay too. Sometimes it's just having the company and being with them could help. Jack, I was just reading your message about the meaning of conscious. So what is it? Can you put it together for me? Oh, okay. To know with. To know together. Your uniqueness is your cuteness. Good evening, guys. Welcome. I'm from England. Where are you from? No, I'm not married. Yes, I'm blonde. My soul, do I want to get trapped? No, my spirit flies free, hun. Millie, why are you confused? You just joined and you don't know what's going on. Maybe if you stay, you'll find out. Hey Hannah, no, you're not late. I only came on recently. But Millie, it's a spiritual Q&A, so we talk about things from a spiritual perspective. you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I tend to answer things that make me feel energized and inspired. Chillage in the village. Interesting, Jack. I like looking at the meanings of words as well. Like when you really break them down, it says a lot. Guys, just a reminder to please be conscious in the chat because I will time you out. Please be respectful to each other and to me. Okay, bye Zaza. What is attention? We say pay attention to this, pay attention to that. What's attention? It's where we're focusing our stream of consciousness. Attention. Stream of consciousness like a river, moment by moment, you mean? Where we are focusing our... It's actually an interesting question to really think about it. Let's look at the definition of attention versus focus. It's the same thing, right? It says here, attention is a broad state of awareness. Focus is a laser sharp and deepens that awareness on a single point. Attention is often the act of turning the light on, while focus is holding that light steady on one object without letting it wander. Interesting. I feel like, and you can focus your attention, right? If you can swap it out in the same sentence, then it's probably the same. Yes, you can focus your attention, but you can't focus your focus. Yeah. It's British YouTube. Louis, two shoes. I didn't think of a card. Can you guys not hear me? Amy, are you thinking about yesterday's questions? Yes, so actually, I saw your question, Hannah, and you were saying, how do I balance myself, right? Was this the question that you wanted me to answer for you? Was there any others? Because I was trying to look through the chat earlier. And I don't know if I saw any others. What are you feeling out of balance with, Hannah? What's making you feel out of balance? Hi, William. Welcome. We're talking about stuff from a spiritual perspective. What do you want to talk about? Spirituality is better than religion, as spiritual teachers connect with oneself and the universe or nature without following any cult or spiritual rituals. Yes, interesting. I think that I'm personally not religious. So I do think that people can find spirituality and connection with God through religion, but I also think that, like you said, like so a lot of the times religion can cause us like separation within us. Not all religion though. There's actually the root of the word religion is religio, which means to bind with, something like that in Latin. And so it's actually the root of the word is to connect with God. But I think a lot of these systems end up getting a little bit corrupt. So we have to be very discerning. Okay, Hannah Lucy, my work isn't very mentally stimulating and I don't socialise often as I have a habit of just getting cosy at home, isolating myself. Okay. And is this a problem for you? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling alone? I'm guessing you're noticing the need to socialise or to have human connection. What is it that's stopping you from going out? Is there something that you're afraid of? Is it because of social anxiety? Yes, Jack. If someone says pay attention instead of focus, then paying attention and focusing mean doing the same thing in that case. We have to say which case. The same word can have different. It's kind of true as well because I feel like paying attention. It's like when I was saying about this stream of you have energetic currency, and it's funny how we say pay attention because you are actually you're paying with your energetic, your spiritual currency. Who is God according to a spiritualist? I feel like that depends on the spiritual person because maybe many people will have different ways of explaining how they believe God to be, but I honestly think that God it's kind of undefinable. Like, how are we meant to even define God, you know? I think we connect with God through our imagination, through going inwards. Okay, Hannah Lucy, probably feeling less than others, seeing as I don't have a degree or I'm not working on getting one, like most people my age, so I get my imbalance is my social ability. Okay. So it's kind of like you are avoiding this feeling of feeling inferior or feeling a bit insecure because you think you're inferior to the others for not having a degree. Have you tried like really questioning that belief? The belief of feeling less than because you don't have a degree. Like, ask yourself, is that 100% true? Like, can you know that's 100% true? Is there any evidence that suggests otherwise? Like, can you find evidence for the opposite that, you know, or evidence to prove that belief wrong? For example, other people out there that don't have a degree, are they all inferior? Or can you see that there are people out there that actually don't have a degree and are still just as worthy as everyone else? Something you could do is like really question that belief. And maybe when you next do go out and you notice the feeling come up or that is connected with these thoughts, is just to place your attention on them so that they don't have such a grip on you. We were saying before about how a feeling creates thoughts and then thoughts create a feeling. It's like a loop. So when you start to notice that feeling, really bringing your attention into the body. And I notice with okay, wait, let me just continue to see if there's anything else here. If it's through imagination, does he exist then? That's like I feel like that question is assuming that the imagination is not real. Whereas I don't agree with that. I think the imagination is real. It's just in a different dimension. It's in the spiritual dimension, the non-physical dimension. Everything begins in the imagination. Everything that has ever been manifested started off as an idea, a thought. Hey Jude, welcome. Nice to have you here. Yes, Neil, all you know is you believe. Who do you fight for? Love? Hannah Lucy, you said yeah and then no? What were you saying yeah and no to? Okay, I am weird. -Z2H. I do follow the good parts of religious textbooks though, like the moral guidebook and rest of rituals involving heaven and hell. Concepts are metaphors of the dualism aspect, they are not reality. Yeah, I agree. I feel like these concepts can, when you look at them through a spiritual, psychological lens, it's a very different takeaway, and we can actually extract a lot of wisdom from them. But when they're seen as like, I don't know, I lost the word, but I think I pretty much said what I meant. Okay, swap. Hey. I am good, thank you. How are you? Your imagination of game of existence is very deep. For real. If you might understand what you say, maybe. Yeah. Because I think sometimes when I'm in my own mind and I'm saying things, to me, it makes sense, and I don't know if it's actually making sense to others. I know some people get it, obviously. Hi, Anas Mohammed. I'm well, thank you. How are you? Welcome to the live. Okay, Jack. In healthy, in dog is healthy means that the dog is the subject of health. But healthy in a sentence, the dog's food is healthy does not mean that the dog's food is the subject of health. Why though? How do we know that the food is not healthy? Like, is a fresh vegetable not a healthy vegetable? Because if it was like composted, like dead, then it wouldn't be healthy anymore. But then I guess it would be healthy for the soil because it's minerals for the soil. Jack, I like your interest in words. What doesn't exist according to you? What doesn't exist according to me is, I believe, or what I've learnt, is that everything that is rooted in fear is actually just distortion and illusion and is not real. But this is like, I guess you could look at this from many different levels, because if you look at it as what's in the imagination is real, as in, how does one even describe? Yeah. Like, the imagination is real, but then it's also like another level where anything that is in the imagination that is fear based is actually a distortion of the truth, right? We say that the dog's fur is healthy, then it means that it is a sign of health. So focus and attention might also have various meanings in different contexts. Yeah. Yes, I guess so. But I don't really get what that has to do with the dog's fur. Being healthy. Yeah, I feel insecure and no to other people who don't have degrees. Mm-hmm. It's definitely something that you could look into deeper, like doing shadow work on this part of you that is coming up when you are in these situations, so that you can really start to shift that belief, or also let's like heal this part of you that has this insecurity. Also, just allowing yourself to feel it is very healing. So like getting yourself to go out there and be with people and like do what's making you a little bit scared. Like you're aware of the fear. Do you want to align with that fear, or do you want to align with a new thought, you know? Like you could choose now to, because you're aware of this thing, belief of um being less than others because you don't have a degree. You're aware of that belief, but now we're starting to question it. So it's like, is it actually, like, does questioning it make you kind of see that it's not the absolute truth? And then you could choose a new belief, like, I don't know, whatever belief you feel like would make you feel more empowered, you know? And then try to look for evidence for that belief. It's weird how your mind constantly talks to itself. Yeah. And if we're not directing our mind is using a lot of energy. And you know, there is a massive power in the difference of having your, like, directing your mind yourself versus allowing your mind to be a reactor to your senses. Oh, you're, if you're not directing your mind is just reacting to your external stimulation, what the senses are taking in. And when we allow our mind to do that and we're not watching our mind, it can create a lot of stories that are just complete distortion and not true. And this is like what we were saying about what it's like, you know, when you have social anxiety, for example, if you're not watching your mind and you're not directing your mind to um directing your thoughts to a desired self-concept, then we fall prey to allowing our mind to just unconsciously create stories around what other people are doing, what other people are saying, when what other people are doing and what other people are saying actually has everything to do with their state of consciousness and not necessarily ours. So our senses are going to be reacting to whatever's going on, and this is also based on conditioning, based on our deeply rooted beliefs. So starting to learn how to direct your mind is extremely powerful. Your life will completely be different. You will have a completely different consequence when you do that. I was reading this book earlier today, and it was saying how there was a lady, so Caroline Mace, I talk about her quite a lot on my channel. She's a teacher and a healer, and one of her clients, one of her students, was saying that she sees every decision in her life like it is going to influence the rest of her life. Every choice is going to influence the whole of her life. And when you look back and really look at all the choices that you've made, obviously you can't necessarily look at all of them because we're making choices every second. Even our thoughts are choices. So but when you really look back and you start to see the consequences that what you're living now is a consequence of your past thoughts, words, actions. So if you can start to look at every choice that you're making, down to your thoughts, as impacting the rest of your life, then maybe you'll be more careful about where you're directing your mind. Because our actions are it's the flow of our thoughts. Our actions are the consequence of what we're thinking. Okay, Robert Crawford, my own mind is a dangerous place. Why is it a dangerous place? Religions are important because of rights they carry, and some of the rights in religion come from prehistory being handed down from generation to generation. Hmm. That's a brain twister. What's a brain twister? Hmm. I'm doing good, thanks. You look serious today. Is everything going as usual? Ah, that's funny. I'm just chilling. Conquer, conqueror. Example. What do you want an example of? Amy, could I just get rid of it overnight? Well, shadow work, I would say that doing shadow work is very powerful for healing these parts of ourselves. Although I would say get like if your intention is to get rid of something overnight or to get rid of a part of yourself, you have to be very careful because what we resist persists. So when you are resisting something, you're actually putting more focus on it. And so what we want to do instead is start to just feel what's coming up in that moment. Because I know you're saying you want to get rid of it, but why do you want to get rid of it? Is it because the feeling is too uncomfortable for you? Which I get because it can be very painful and difficult and challenging to go through in the moment. But that mindset of trying to get rid of it is actually probably, it's not probably, it will make it worse. The resistance, it's like you're creating more resistance in your system. Okay, what will be the signs of something good will happen to me soon? The signs that something good will happen to you soon is if your state of consciousness is focused on the state that you will feel when whatever it is that you think is whatever it is that you're in your mind you desire, the thing that you think is going to make you feel good, make you feel whatever emotion it is that you're wanting to feel. The sign that this is going to happen to you is that you are in your predominant state, is that you are believing that these things are already, you already have them. You know, to desire something is to actually prove that it's already yours. Because if you can imagine something in your mind and you can feel the state of having it, like you've already got it, I'm trying to think about how to explain this. That desire is already yours. You've actually already realized the desire, because the desire is actually more to do with how you want to feel. We connect like people, achievements, places, money, all of these things to feelings because we want to feel a certain way. So maybe we want to feel empowered. And so we project that, okay, once I have this, I will feel empowered. But the truth is, you can feel empowered in this moment. And from bringing yourself into a state of empowerment, bringing yourself into the state of being loved, bringing yourself into a state of peace, from that state, more positive things are going to start happening to you in your life. So if... Okay, wait. Okay, I have money, home, and everything I'm satisfied with, but my lust... But I can't control my lust. What should I do? Okay. So when you get this feeling of lust, is lust a feeling? When you get this desire arise, I would try to notice the thoughts that are connected with the feeling that you're having. Like, why is it that you are saying that the lust is a problem for you? Like, what happens when you do not control your lust? Silence is a symbol of pure consciousness. I love that. I know we talk about self, but what about the collective? What about the collective, freshman, 1994? aim. What does it mean to be balanced? It's a good question. Oh, that's so red. Okay. I think the universe is always seeking balance. So, because we are, because the outer world is reflecting our inner world, or as above, so below. You've heard the saying as above, so below, or like what is in the whole is in one. That makes sense. I don't know if that's the actual term, but because the universe is always trying to seek balance in some way through different universal laws that govern our world. Like, for example, when you look into the Hermetic principles, these different laws are showing us that the universe is maybe let's actually look it up, because then maybe I could give you a better answer. Yeah, so you have different Hermetic principles, like the principle of polarity, right? So it says here, everything has two poles or opposites which are identical in nature, but different in degree. Balance is achieved by recognizing the opposites. Okay, cool. So basically, what you want to do to become balanced is you want to notice the state that you're in, and then you want to find the opposite. And you don't want to swing so far to the other side. Like, let me give you an example, right? When we are playing out unhealthy patterns with people in relationships, what it is both people are actually out of balance in some way. Like, for example, when you have someone that is a people pleaser and someone that is a narcissist, or someone that is completely self-sacrificing, and someone that is a narcissist, they have their opposite ends of the scale, so they're both out of balance. One is not able to even like feel into the other person's feelings. They're all inwards, and everything's about their own. Like they just have like it seems like they have no empathy, because they're not even kind of it's sometimes it can just feel like they don't care about you. This is like a protective this is like a coping mechanism, or something that they have learned to protect themselves from young age. The other person is doing the opposite. They're way too focused on the external, and so they completely forget about themselves. This is like a very common pattern, unhealthy pattern that plays out in relationships. So if you wanted to find balance, say you were that person that, and you can apply this to many different areas in your life, say you were that person that is self-sacrificing, that person can look to the other extreme and just because they probably see that person as like bad, right? Because what they're doing is the complete opposite of what you're doing. Sorry. Like, the person that is self-sacrificing is doing the complete opposite thing to the person that is very narcissistic. And so what the person that is self-sacrificing needs to do is actually take a tiny pinch of what the narcissistic person is doing and bring that into their own way of being. Not to say that they're going to become narcissistic, because that would be unhealthy, but they need to be able to set boundaries and not care so much what the other person is thinking about them. You know? It's like the narcissistic person is to that extreme where they actually just don't care to an unhealthy amount, or it seems like they don't care. And this can get them in trouble, you know, because they're not able to connect with the other person. And they're going to keep attracting people that are weaker, that allow this kind of behavior. So the narcissistic person is more likely to completely like do things that is completely not even have your best interest at heart. Kind of just like not taking into your well-being into account. Whereas the person on the other end of the scale is like doing the opposite. They are completely abandoning themselves and trying to please what the other person's needs are. So there needs to be a balance, like finding the middle balance. And you can do this with... So when it comes to balance, what it is both people are going to meet in the middle. You're going to take into account each other's needs, right? That makes sense, right? The narcissistic person needs to realize that in order to have a healthy relationship, they need to take into account the other person's needs as well as their own. So they need to learn to actually feel into other people's experiences, whereas the people pleaser needs to learn to feel into their own system and understand what they need and be able to communicate that. It's all about, obviously, both sides need to learn good communication as well. But both need to learn to understand that they need to find solutions and communicate and find ways to understand both persons' needs. Understand that both needs need to be taken into account to make any decision. Anyway, so that's one example of finding balance, right? But you could do this in many different areas of your life. Like, let's say, let me just see if actually you said anything more, because then I can... But Hannah, with respect to your situation, what did you say that you needed help on finding balance with? Oh, you said about you were staying in too much and not going out enough, right? Or not socializing enough. And I think this is the thing, is like you know when you've come out of balance. Like your body will tell you when you've come out of balance. So if it is that you're doing something too much, then you might need to just it might not be necessarily that you need to go out 50% as much as you stay in. It might just mean that you need to get out a little bit more often and listen to your intuition about how much that is. You know, what's good for you. And it might be different ways, like, that you find connection. Like for some people, for more extroverted people, going out like every night is important for them. Like finding social connection every day might be more important for them. Whereas some people, they might only need it for like once a week and they feel good and they feel satisfied. But your body is going to communicate to you when you've come out of balance. And it sounds like you already know that, you know? But then it's acting on it. Because this is what the thing that gets us out of balance is fear. It's the same as the example of the person that is a people pleaser versus someone that is narcissistic, like when they're in that pattern. Both sides are actually in a state of fear to finding balance, because if for the people pleaser, it's like the fear of setting a boundary, because they learned that when they set boundaries, they get a bad reaction from the other person. So it's like avoid bad reactions at all costs. And also you're just assuming that if I communicate my needs, the other person is going to react badly. And what happens is then they get into relationships where, because we live in a universe where our outer world is mirroring our inner world, so the universe will be putting you in situations and will attract to you the people that are showing you your inner beliefs. So but these people, they end up in these situations, and the people pleaser side is scared to, like I just said, communicate their boundaries, because they have this belief that when I communicate my boundaries, people don't react well to that. And so there's a fear there of like what's going to happen if, so it's like best to just not do it, or it becomes this unconscious acting out, because that's just, but then when we start becoming conscious that we're doing this because we are attracting these people into our lives, or we're attracting this pattern into our lives, we're playing out the same pattern with different people, then it has to be this overcoming of this fear, realizing this belief of what's keeping you stuck in this pattern, and then starting to exercise that piece of guidance, setting a boundary for that people pleaser's perspective, and then proving to yourself that even if someone gives you a bad reaction, like if you set a boundary, or if you tell someone what you need and they try to manipulate you, then this is where you start to realize, okay, this is not the kind of relationships that I'm wanting, and your tolerance level starts to go down for it. So for the other person's perspective, the more narcissistic person, they're actually afraid to I think it's like some level of trying to really feel into the pattern. It's almost like if I take into account someone else's needs, then my needs won't get met. So it's this fear of losing yourself, I guess. It's like the fear of, yeah, it's like this adaptive strategy that we kind of pick up when we're kids, where if you had like a parent that was completely, I actually think both patterns can be born from, like if you had a very narcissistic parent, you could also become narcissistic as an adaptive strategy. And we're actually all somewhere on this scale. Like we all experience moments where we actually might, it's not that we're necessarily narcissistic in like a extreme sense, but we all have the potential to act out narcissistic patterns. You might be more prone to being more on the people pleaser scale, on that end of the spectrum. You might be more prone to the other side, but we also all tend to sometimes do both to a certain degree, even if it's just a small amount. We all have it in us. I went off on a tangent. Hey, truth claim. Balance to do what is right without excess or diminishing. Yeah, I think it's also very much to do with without going to the either end of the extreme. You can also look at a good way to like get into more balance as well is by noticing things that you don't like in other people. Notice things that you like hate in other people that make you feel, or just things that you don't like. And then ask yourself, if I just took like a grain of what this person's like and developed that within myself, how could this actually benefit the whole? Like, ask yourself that question, because often when we when we actually when we really don't like something in someone, where it's causing a negative reaction in our body, it's because it's something within us that we reject, that we tell ourselves that that's bad or wrong, when it might be actually that this person could be teaching us that we are out of balance in some way. Not to say that we want to become exactly like them if they are completely out of balance, but that's why I say just a grain. You can learn a lot from the people that you don't like. If all life is suffering, then at what point do we start again in life? Why do you say that all life is suffering? Hey, Windsor Castle, welcome. Thank you. If if it's possible for them to meet in the middle rather than one person having to carry the other, yes, that's what we want to do. We want to be finding solutions that benefit everyone. And this is not just in like, it's all parties need to be considered, and finding like truly finding solutions where everyone feels happy with the solution. And what happens is, it's so when people are self-sacrificing, it can be very difficult to find those solutions, because maybe they're not even speaking up about what they want. And that's like why I try to find people that I can communicate with. If I find that no matter how much I am trying to communicate with someone and I'm sensing into something's not right, if they're not telling me, that becomes, I can't be responsible for all of that, you know? We can be responsible for how we communicate and truly setting the intention to wanting to understand someone else's needs and finding a solution that is good for both people. But if there's sometimes some people are not workable, and then we have to decide, when we've accepted that that's the truth, if they're not doing their own part, then we need to decide what's best for our own well-being at the end of the day. Yes, Jack Darby, the middle path. Hannah, that's okay. Yeah, I love learning about this as well. What do you think about walking through nature in solitude? I think that it's a great idea. I absolutely love walking through nature in solitude. I love to commune with the plants and just nature in general. I think that it's a very, when you drop your attention, or when you drop your energy field into nature and you actually immerse yourself. When I say you immerse yourself into nature, I mean like your full consciousness, bringing it into the space. This helps us to connect with the spiritual dimension within us. So I really do encourage everyone to do that once in a while. What do you think about the golden million? What's the golden million? I've never heard that. Where are you looking? I'm just looking upwards. Just up into my room. When I'm talking, sometimes helps me to focus. How to accelerate the process of not getting lured by thoughts and stay out of their control, because that's what is the secret to play this game. Okay. So I would advise you to have a consistent, regular meditation practice. See this as like your gym session for your mind. So when you train your mind, even just for 10 minutes in the morning, sorry guys, over time, that is going to compound the amount of work or the amount of when you consistently do something like that, you are and over a long period of time, you are strengthening your mind so that throughout the rest of the day, and it's not necessarily that it's going to take really long, but when you start to do it over years and years and years, like it just gets deeper and deeper. Like I remember when I was like a few years into my meditation practice, I was like, wow, like the things that I discover just from going inwards about the universe, about life, about people, about connection, about just spirituality, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And so also I find that my ability to stay clear gets better and better. But I'm also not just doing, I find that, okay, I like to have a regular meditation, formal meditation practice where I actually sit down and I will train my mind in the sense that I will practice a stillness practice or listening to nature, like we just said, immersing myself in nature and just allowing stillness, finding stillness by focusing on the space between thoughts. This allows me to be better when it comes to focus, when it comes to directing my mind, when it comes to directing my mind to the places that I want it to be in. Like thinking thoughts that make me feel the feelings that I want to feel. Every time that our thoughts start to take our attention away and we become unconscious, every time you notice that and bring yourself back to the present moment, you are strengthening your ability to stay present. So if you keep doing this over consistently, you'll start to notice that you're becoming much, much better at it. In the beginning of my meditation practice, especially when I used to try and do visualizations, in the very beginning when I first started doing visualizations, I could not hold myself in a visualization for very long. I would find it really difficult to be like imagining myself in a room talking to someone, like my thoughts would just pull me away so quickly and so easily. But over years of just practicing stillness practices, focusing on one thing at a time, my mind has become a lot stronger. So I notice now that I'm able to stay in a visualization for a long period of time where it actually feels like you're experiencing it more. Feels like I am actually able to feel the feelings that come with this visualization, actually doing this visualization. Not get distracted so easily. How do you mitigate the dominance submission dynamic between people? Why do you want to mitigate it? What does that word mean? Okay, so what you're saying is you think that the dominance submission dynamic is, you're saying how to, what, express it from a healthy place? Martin, I suffer with depression at times, so I stay indoors alone most of the time and find it difficult to get out. Yeah. Sometimes when we've done that for a long period of time and when we've avoided something that kind of, I don't know why you have depression, but are you, okay, let me actually ask a question before I even go in and speak about this. What is it that makes it difficult for you to get out? Is there something you're afraid of? Amy, how do we feel everyone's expectations and still come home to our inner selves? You have to accept that you cannot feel everyone's expectations, for one. That's like a way too much of a responsibility for one person. I would say always put your inner child first. Always. Not to say that you are going to neglect other people's needs, but your inner child needs to come first, because you're the only one that can protect your inner child. So before you try to fill other people's expectations or you try to meet the needs of others, make sure your own needs are being met, but you also want to make sure that your own needs are being met in a way that is in alignment with the needs of other people. For example, if someone is calling you and they need to talk to you, right? Let's say that your friend is needing to vent and you are feeling really tired. A common thing that people pleasers will do is they will listen to their friend that wants to vent even though they're feeling tired, or they will be on the phone and or like you'll say yes to that friend coming round even though you're feeling tired and your intuition isn't even able to, your intuition is telling you I need to rest. So the people pleaser would ignore this part of them that is saying I need to rest and just put the other person before them. But this doesn't actually serve the other person, because when we're tired, we can't actually listen to our full capacity. So what you're better off saying is, saying to your friend in this example, I feel tired right now and I want to give you the attention that I want to be able to give you my full attention and presence. So now's not the right time. Often when we're like people pleasing, we may be scared to say no to people. We have to learn that protecting ourselves, protecting our needs, or just making sure that our needs are met we are actually meeting the needs of others. Not always, but we have to take into account, is this the best thing for the whole? Meaning, the whole is always taking into account your needs. So you wouldn't be able to meet the needs of someone else and neglect your own need. That's not even in alignment with the other person. It's never going to be in alignment with the whole to do that. It's just not. Does that make sense? Like, it's not even going to be in the other person's best interest to do that, because it might breed some sort of resentment inside of you if you're doing that. And then they are going to end up experiencing or feeling that resentment, you know? Okay, Neil says, I suffer similar to you, but I struggle to stay indoors. I escape into nature and peace. Neil, when you're in nature and peace, do you get inspiration for what you could be doing instead of being in nature? Okay, I'm trying to go forwards because I think I've gone quite far. I'm just catching up. Okay, hang on. When you help others, you really help yourself. Yes, to a certain extent, as long as you're not overextending. To the person that's asked me about how to lessen the sub-dom dynamic, like why do you think it's necessary to mitigate it? That's what I want to know. Like, what do you think is the problem with sub-dom dynamics? Okay, Neil said, what do you think about escapism? I need to break away from work, people, pressures. What does this say about a person? So, why my question to you is, why is it a problem that you need a break from work, people, and pressures? Because you're saying it's escapism, going into work, like going into nature, but why has this been a problem for you? Like, is this creating a problem? Yeah, Hannah, go for it. Ask me another one. I'm just trying to catch up with some of these questions. Should men and women be segregated to protect future generations? Absolutely not. Why would you say that? Yes, Pierre, this shirt is cozy. It's so old. I know all of our desires are actually true, but I'm trying to accelerate the process somehow, and that's the problem. The the so the thing that is in between us and realizing our desires is our ability to believe it. Is our ability, like, the things that are keeping us from manifesting our desires are the beliefs and thoughts that contradict that thing that we want. Anything in our subconscious, and it's obviously not going to be just conscious because our subconscious is informing our conscious mind. And so we have these deeply rooted beliefs and thoughts and conditioning, and so a lot of the time they contradict what it is that we want. So we have to start closing this gap by completely shifting our beliefs, doing deep work. Amy, your most exciting experience really recently? Well, I did actually have a lucid dream the other night. It wasn't even in the night time. It was a daytime nap, which I think is why I went lucid. And it was very mundane, honestly. I was just in the house, and my housemate was in Australia at the time in real life. And so I was in the kitchen and she was there. And I was like, okay, this is a dream because you're not even in this country. And so I went up to her and I was like, hey, do you know this is my dream? Because, yeah, I just like said to her, hey, like, this is my dream. Like, do you know? And she was just like, looked at me like, what? And then I just continued doing things. And it went on for quite a long time. Like, I woke up and I was like, yay. How did you choose that piece of art on the wall? I didn't choose it. Okay, Hannah. What you said, I'd be interested to know what you think about life in between the extremes. Like, I'm trying to live out of survival mode. Could you explain this to me more? What do you mean by you'd be interested in knowing what I think about life in between the extremes? You're trying to live out of survival mode more. Could you go into more detail, maybe? The person who keeps saying about fish and chips is making me really hungry. Or making me realize I'm hungry. And I think it's too late to go get fish and chips. I mean, I don't eat fish, but chips. Thank you, Swap, for the questions. Honestly, I love talking about this stuff, so I like a challenging question. Okay, someone said rich and poor, good and bad, health presumably. Oh, okay. Hannah, is this what you were kind of talking about? Like, I think also a lot comes down to our attachment to things and our identification with things. Like, if you're talking about the living, in between, like being balanced between someone that is, like with money, for example, or material objects, it's like not getting so attached to things where you can be in balance with like the materialism of things. Like you're not so attached to things that you can't make necessary changes. For example, like clearing your stuff out or throwing things away that you don't need anymore. Or um or like living in fear that you're going to lose something because you're very attached to it. These things can make us very unconscious. People also have attachments to being poor as well. I heard this spiritual teacher talking about this once. It's like there is this like loyalty that we have sometimes, like people that are living in families that have a lot of mindsets like that are linked with poverty. Sometimes it can actually be very scary for people to come out of these patterns because there's there's a certain loyalty in their family, and if they started to completely change, then there's like a fear that they will be outcasted from the family. You completely start to change and shift from your family, then sometimes like the ego doesn't really, especially if someone's very unconscious, the ego doesn't want to be, it doesn't want to change. It's so sometimes when there's a member of the family that is awakening, they can experience a lot of difficulties with the rest of their family members because the people that are in the grip of the ego doesn't want to come out of its patterns. Like the ego wants to stay alive. And so if someone is threatening that, the ego, by awakening, it can be very challenging for other family members, and then they could end up projecting a lot of fear onto the one that is awakening, trying to manipulate them, trying to control them in some way, trying to get them to come back to unconsciousness. Like this is just something that happens. And so it can be very scary for people to even try to come out of their mindsets around like that are linked with poverty. And it could be the same for either way. I would love to come get fish and chips, guys. If only. Not fish. Just chips. I always say fish and chips because it's so, like, natural as a British person to just say fish and chips, but I don't even eat fish. But, like, I'll be like, let's go get fish and chips, but I never eat fish. Cheese, crackers, and a cup of tea. Oh, I'm just hungry. You guys are making me hungry. Oh, maybe I have some snacks. Mm. Thank you, Swap. I really do love it. Fish and chip shop date. What is an illusion? An illusion is something that is, it's like a distortion of the truth. What is an illusion? Because it's like something that is, that seems to be, but it's missing the mark. It's like an illusion is something that misses the mark. It's like you're believing something that isn't quite the truth. Or I guess it doesn't mean that you're believing something, but an illusion is like, the way I'm thinking about it is like a magician that does like a magic trick. It's like this is an illusion, so they are presenting you something that seems to be, but it's not quite what it really is. That's why fear is an illusion, because fear is like a manifestation of, it's almost like an overlay of the deeper truth within us. There is a deeper truth, and the deeper truth is that we are always connected to the source. But fear at the fundamental level is that we have forgotten our connection to source. Which is an illusion, because that can never happen. We can never be disconnected from source. But when we are under the illusion that we are disconnected from source, it feels so real when we believe it. So to the person believing it may seem true, that to them they think that it's the truth, but they're actually under an illusion. There's a deeper truth there. And this is why it's important that we really listen to ourselves. We really listen to what's going on in our inner world, because when a fear arises, or when we are under the illusion, like for example, if I am stopping myself from going out because I'm scared that something's going to happen to me, something bad is going to happen to me, I've fallen under the illusion that this fear is creating. So I have to listen to I have to listen to the thoughts that are connected to this fear, basically, so that I can start to really understand the truth underneath these thoughts, question them. Does that make sense? Hey, ES. Welcome. How can you distort the truth when everything exists? Did I already answer that with my last answer? Do I believe in the paranormal? Yes. You're most welcome, Amy. The unknown is my source of motivation to go on with human form. Yeah, it very much is settles my mind as well, which is funny because a lot of people find it quite unsettling. Hello, welcome. Aprat? What is source? Source, the prime creator of all things, the thing that source, I would say, is, I feel like the word source explains the word source. It's the source of all creation, or the source of everything that has been manifested. God, in other words. Do you want to be disconnected from source? You can't actually be disconnected from source. That's an illusion. We're actually under like an illusion just by being on Earth, because there is the illusion of separation being here. The truth is, everything is always connected. Everything's connected. How can you distort truth when everything exists? You actually didn't answer this question. How can you distort truth when everything exists? But I don't really get this question. I'm not sure if I'm computing. I feel like I did answer this earlier. Maybe the... Like, the thing that comes to me is God allows for all forms of consciousness to have free will. And so if we want to... It's like you said, how can you distort truth when everything exists? But that would... If we are under illusion just by being here, because the illusion is that we are separate from God, right? Does that mean that we're not existing in this realm? Like, we're still existing. We're still experiencing. It's just that we have certain filters that don't allow us to see the full truth. That doesn't mean that... Like, does that make sense? What do you think? Hey, Tim. Good evening, Emma Jane. I hope you're well too. You're saying there's some truth in everything being connected, but I think we're talking about it from different levels. Is that we are all connected energetically, spiritually. We are all connected. It's just that in this realm, it's we we are under this illusion that we are separate, that we are separate objects. We actually have an auric field that extends way outside our body. There's also, I think there's also scientific studies that prove this, and I'm going to get this up because I was listening to it in an audiobook, but I always forget scientific facts, guys. This is like one of the things that I need to get better at. And so I'm going to start actually writing them down and trying to remember these things so that I can explain it a little bit better to you guys next time. How do you know what's real? Anything rooted in love is real. Anything that is rooted in fear is illusion. Okay. You said anything imagined is real, just in the spiritual realm of imagination. Now, if it exists, then it's true. A lie is what it's not. But why is it that if it exists, then it's true? That's not necessarily true, because you could have a thought that exists, but it's not true. Like, I could think right now I have a penis, but that's not true. So that thought exists, but it's not a true thought. You know? Oh, it's so hot in here. Ooh. Amy, large chips or small? I would definitely eat up a whole large chips right now. I love salt and vinegar as well. Explain fear. Fear, okay, let's see what I'm gonna just explain to you what's coming to me right now. Is that to be in a state of fear is to have forgotten your divinity, to have lost faith in the divine, meaning to have lost trust, to have forgotten your connection with God. This is why also our earthly plane, like the planet, has a lot of fear. Because we are a planet that is under this illusion that we're so separate from God, we don't even remember our divine nature. Most of us don't. And so this is for a reason though, guys, because, and I'm telling you this from listening to people that have done like past life regressions and had near death experiences and out of body experiences. A lot of them report that when they are on the other side and they connect with God, they get to experience being back with God. A lot of people say that the reason why we come to Earth to experience this illusion of separation is to learn what love is, to learn what God is, to learn what we are, what our essence actually is. So, and we also come here because we're evolving our souls and we're becoming more, we're helping God, the universe source, to become more aware, to learn more about itself. We go on this journey of separation, of illusion of separation, because we can never actually truly be separated, in order to it's like we fall into these patterns, right, where things become so difficult when we are in any state of fear, like when we're under these when we're really truly plugged into these beliefs that are rooted in fear, or we are in the grip of them, we start to suffer, or we can experience a lot of suffering. So through that suffering, and a lot of people, when they're at like their lowest, is when they actually wake up and realize that, okay, all of these illusory beliefs and thoughts that I'm constantly giving my energy to are actually the cause of my suffering. And it's only when we realize that when we still our mind, that we can enter into a place of peace and we can actually choose to have this connection with the divine through choosing loving thoughts, or thoughts that are rooted in love. Okay, someone said you're contradicting yourself way too much regarding imagination, truth, and fear. I would advise you do some more reading. Can you tell me exactly where you're saying I've contradicted myself? Someone said, what is love? Love is a selfish deed. You marry someone for yourself and care about yourself, actually. That wouldn't be true love. To love, this is Till Swan's definition of love, which I really do agree with, is that to love is to take someone else as a part of yourself. To see someone else as a part of yourself. To realize, this is the realization of oneness, is that we are all, like, whatever I do to myself, I do to you. Even down to the thoughts I think about you. If they are negative thoughts I'm thinking about you, I actually am doing that to myself. Because I'm the source of that negativity. And so if you're, when in the telepathic realms, when we direct a thought when we direct a thought towards someone, telepathically they pick it up. Subconsciously. If they're not conscious of this, they may take that on and believe whatever it is. They might start to think that you are thinking negative thoughts about them, or they might have this intuitive sense that you are, not even intuitive, but like subconscious sense that you are like thinking negatively towards them, or whatever it is that you're thinking about them. They might feel it. It's like, how do I explain it? It's like subconsciously it enters into their subconscious. But they can actually not allow this to become part of their self-concept if they're conscious enough. It's like you might have thoughts throughout the day that are like lower vibration about yourself, but it might actually be that someone else is thinking this about you. But so this is what I mean about we're all affecting each other all the time. But anyway, if I was that person that was having this negative thought about someone else, if they don't take it on and absorb it, it actually just boomerangs and comes back to me. And also, if you're having, like, the way you're seeing other people is a reflection of how you see yourself. But to go back to what you said about if you marry someone and love is a selfish deed, true love is not a selfish deed, because true love is to take someone else as part of you, as you. So if you're marrying someone and you don't actually care about them, then you're not marrying them for love. You're not marrying them as a loving act. You're actually marrying them because there is a deep-rooted fear there. Like it could be so many different reasons that people are getting married, and they don't actually love the other person, or they don't actually like the other person. I don't know. This is what I mean. This is like, it's too vague what you even said. My day was good, thank you, Tim. How was yours? Amy, how do I let myself be angry and not suppress it? Okay, well, you can start out by getting a journal and writing out. I'm going to give you these questions that helps you to express your anger. If you find it hard to express your anger, you can write down, I hate it when, like, say something has like bothered you, and it might be that you just feel upset about something, right? You can start with the anger prompts, because this can help you to release anything. Like, sometimes some of us don't feel the anger because we've learned to suppress anger. We might just go straight to like crying and being upset, but we're actually angry about something. So you can start with the anger and just type, like, write down or type I hate it when, and then see what comes out. I feel so angry that, and then type out what comes out. I'm fed up with, and then type out what comes out. I'm filled with rage when da 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 da. You know? So really, like, allow yourself to feel what is coming up when you type those things out. And then you can start to go deeper in, because the anger is actually it's a sign that there's a deeper need there. And a lot of the time, okay, I don't even know how to explain, but you can, there's like a I don't know how to explain it, but I think I answered your question. 74749. I always come in the stream, but I get ignored. Hun, what did you say? I said this before. I usually answer comments or messages that energize me or make me feel inspired. So I don't know what you said, but also I'm trying to go through them quickly as well. So if it was on topic and it was a question that inspired me and energized me, then I probably may have answered it. Or I just missed it and didn't see it. So I'm sorry if that was the case. Oh, Hannah, thank you for your message. You're welcome, my love. Okay, once you've also, by the way, we were talking about expressing anger. Once you've expressed the anger, that you can then move down to like expressing hurt and disappointment or sadness. So you can do these journaling prompts for that as well. By the way, I did not create these journaling prompts. They are from a video on Teal Swan's YouTube channel called Express an Emotion, I believe. So you can even watch her video, and she has all these journaling prompts on there, but they're really good. And it says, so she basically says to express the anger, and then express your hurt, and then express what you're scared of, and then express what you're sorry for, and then express what you want and what you need. So you go down these different levels, and you get to really express the full, to like your full capacity, I guess. Well, not capacity, but the full expression of emotion. I'm getting tired, so I'm going to have to go soon. What are the main process to address anger from grandparents to a child without being too, like, not to hate them? I'm confused. My son is an 8-year-old. What do you mean? Pierre, what do you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while. What do I want to do? What are the main process to address anger from grandparents to child without being too... Look, when it comes to anger, there is a really good book on anger by Marshall Rosenberg. I would so recommend it. I haven't even read the whole book, but I think I read like the first chapter and I was like mind blown. There's one, the book is called Is it The Surprising Purpose of Anger? It's really good. Or, yeah, Beyond Anger Management. Something like that. Marshall Rosenberg. Type in Marshall Rosenberg anger, and I think there's a PDF online, to be honest, which is one I read before. But yeah, Beyond Anger Management might be the one. Yes. The Surprising Purpose of Anger, Beyond Anger Management, Finding the Gift. It's a really good book, which I've not read all of, but even the first part was good too. I got this book today, guys, and I'm so excited about it. It's the Neville Goddard Deluxe Collection. I've been listening to this. It's so thick. I've been listening to this on Audible. And it's so good. I love it. Wait. Maybe I should open like one page and just read whatever comes out. Okay. Let's see. Chapter 22. Persistence. Okay, I'm going to read you some, guys. It says, ask, seek. I'm going to read you one page because it's quite wordy. But I actually like this. Ask, seek, and knock mean assuming the consciousness of already having what you desire. Thus, the scriptures tell you that you must persist in rising to, assuming the consciousness of your wish already being fulfilled. The promise is definite that if you are shameless in your impotence, in assuming that you already have that which your senses deny, it shall be given unto you. Your desire shall be attained. The Bible teaches the necessity of persistence by the use of many stories. When Jacob sought a blessing from the angel with whom he wrestled, he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. Genesis 3:26. When the Shunammite sought to help the help of Elisha, she said, "As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee." And he rose and followed her. 2 Kings 4:30. Guys, I don't usually read the Bible, so is it 4:30 or 4:30? Someone tell me. The same idea is expressed in another passage. Okay, wait. As he spake a parable unto them, that men ought always to pray, and not to faint, saying, There was in a city a judge, which feared not God, neither regarded man, and there was a widow in the city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while. But afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest she weary me by her continual coming. See, this is why I don't read the Bible, because I don't understand these Bible verses. Okay, it says here, the basic truth underlying each of these stories is that desire springs from the awareness of ultimate attainment, and that persistence in maintaining the consciousness of the desire already being fulfilled results in its fulfillment. It is not enough to feel yourself into the state of the answered prayer. You must persist in that state. Yes, it is not enough to feel yourself into the state of the answered prayer. You must persist in that state. There is a reason that is the reason for the injunction. Man ought always to pray and not to faint. Luke 18:1. Here to pray means to give thanks for already having what you desire. Yes. Mm. Okay, Natasha, you said about your grandparents being directing their anger towards your son on minor things. Have you tried communicating to them how you feel about this and what you need from them? Or why they're actually angry? I really, really do, but also, Natasha, to check out nonviolent communication, because this is really good for like setting boundaries with people, or even just understand, like getting to the root of why people are acting the way they are. With that being said, like with grandparents, no, I think they could, yeah, it still needs, yeah. Nonviolent communication is a very good book if you're struggling with communication with family members. Can you please read us a bedtime story? Like bedtime story or some spiritual content? Because all my books are all to do with spirituality and philosophy, so I don't have any bedtime stories. But I guess they can be bedtime stories. Should we do a prayer? Okay, I'll see you later, Tim. Have a good night. Oh, can you repeat the book name? Which one? There was Nonviolent Communication, and they're both by the same guy, Marshall Rosenberg, and then the other one is the surprise anger. The other one was The Surprising Purpose of Anger by Marshall Rosenberg as well. Marshall B. Rosenberg and Nonviolent Communication, both very good. Bye, Tim. Have a good night. Okay, I'm going to do a little prayer, guys, from my prayer book to end this live. If it's here. Okay, here we go. Actually, do you know what? Is there a prayer in here? I've been sitting in this dodgy position, so. Okay. Let me do. An evening prayer, because I'm going to bed. Okay, but before we do an evening prayer, let's do a little prayer for the body. Dear God, as I rise up, I thank you for the opportunity to be on this earth. I thank you for my mind and my body. I thank you for my life. Please bless my body and use it for your purposes. May I rise up strong today, and may my body and soul radiate your love. May all impurities be cast out of my mind, my heart, and my body. May every cell of my being be filled with your light. May my body and mind both be illumined for your sake and for the sake of the world. Amen. Okay, prayer for faith. Dear God, may I have faith. May I not be tempted to forget your power. May I not be tempted to forget your love. May my mind not stray to the might of the destroyer, but remember instead the might of the Lord. Tomorrow you shall show me, and you shall have the last word, the final say. And so I shall not worry. You shall redeem me. I shall resurrect. You shall bring forth new life from all apparent death. You create from what the darkness has destroyed. For your power is infinite, your forgiveness total, your mercy complete. So it shall be that I might fall, but I shall not remain down, for my Lord is with me. He shall lift me up. He shall create a new day. He shall bring me home. Praise God. Amen. And evening prayers. Okay. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for my safety and the safety of my loved ones. As I enter sleep, may these hours give me peace. May they bring healing to my body and my mind. While I sleep, dear Lord, please bless the world. Where there is pain, where there are people who have no place to sleep, who suffer and who die, may your angels come unto them and minister to their lives. Dear Lord, please let the light stream in. Please use my hours of sleep. Please prepare me during these hours of rest for greater service to you. May the light that surrounds me tomorrow shine through me. Soften my heart. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Dear God, I surrender to you the day now over. May only love remain. Take all else into the fire of your transformative power. Release me, release others from any effects of my wrong-mindedness or wrongdoing. Dear God, return me to your light as I now give to you who I am, what I did, who I loved, who I failed to love. Please make all things right. Take all things. May I continue to grow in your light and love. Tomorrow may I be better. And so it is. Okay. And with that, I say thank you, God, for another beautiful day on earth in this body. Thank you to everyone that joined the live. What's the prayer book? The prayer book is called Illuminata by Marianne Williamson, A Return to Prayer. You can get these on second-hand websites like World of Books for like £5, maybe. I ordered one the other day for my friend, and then I ended up giving it to another friend, so I need to order another one now. Maybe we could just sit in stillness for like a little while before I go. Can we ask a spiritual question? No. I'm done for now. But maybe if you come back for the next live and ask your question then, because I can't get into any more right now. I'm too tired, I'm sorry. Guys, this top is so old, but I can't throw it away. It's so ripped up. It's cozy and it's one of my favorite tops. This top, it's not meant to be this ripped though. It kind of gets stuck to stuff as well. Like if I'm walking out the door, it might get stuck to the door handle. I have money to buy a new shirt, yes, but I like this one. It's one of those t-shirts that stays really soft. You know when you just like I've had it for years and it's so soft. And it's so big. And I love the color and I love the artwork on it. And it has artwork on the back. Oh, I can't even move right now. Show it right now. It's irreplaceable. It is. I've had this for like at least 10 years. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go now. Lovely spending the evening with you. Have a beautiful weekend. Peace, namaste. See you later.